Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. This is the portion of the program where I give you some preliminary instructions. Throughout the last 2 days, you've been instructed that I would give you the law. Right now, I'm going to give you a basic outline of what to expect these next few days going forward. The defendant has been charged by the state of Tennessee with a violation of state law. The document containing the charges is referred to as an indictment. An indictment is the formal accusation charging a defendant with a crime and is not evidence of anything. The defendant is charged with first-degree murder, premeditated killing, 2 counts. First-degree murder, killing in perpetration of aggravated child neglect, and especially aggravated kidnapping. The essential elements of first-degree murder, premeditated killing, in counts 1 and 2 of the indictment are as follows: that the defendant unlawfully killed the alleged victim, and that the defendant acted intentionally, and that the killing was premeditated. The essential elements of first-degree murder, killing in perpetration of aggravated child neglect, in count 3 of the indictment are as follows: that the defendant unlawfully killed the alleged victim, and that the killing was committed in the perpetration of or the attempt to perpetrate the alleged aggravated child neglect, that is, that the killing was closely connected to the alleged aggravated child neglect and was not a separate, distinct, and independent event, and that the defendant intended to commit the alleged aggravated child neglect. The essential elements necessary to constitute aggravated child neglect are that the defendant knowingly neglected a child so as to adversely affect the child's health and welfare, and that the act of neglect resulted in serious bodily injury to the child, and that the child was 8 years of age or less. The elements of first-degree murder have already been set out and are previously explained in count 1 and 2 of this indictment. The essential elements of aggravated child neglect in count 4 of the indictment are as follows: that the defendant knowingly neglected a child so as to adversely affect the child's health and welfare, that the act of neglect resulted in serious bodily injury to the child, and that the child was 8 years of age or less. The essential elements of especially aggravated kidnapping in count 5 of the indictment are as follows: that the defendant knowingly removed or confined another unlawfully so as to interfere substantially with the other's liberty, and that the alleged victim suffered serious bodily injury during the removal or confinement. The defendant has pled not guilty to the charges. He is presumed innocent and may not be found guilty by you unless, after hearing all of the evidence, attorneys' arguments, and instructions of law, the 12 jurors seated in this case unanimously find that the state has proven its case beyond a reasonable doubt. The first step in the trial will be the attorney's opening statements. The state will tell you about the evidence it intends to present so that you will have an idea what the state's case is about. The opening statement is not evidence. After the state's opening statement, the attorney for the defendant may make an opening statement if he or she should choose. Next will be the state's case in chief, in which the state will present its evidence. The evidence in the case will most likely consist of testimony of witnesses, physical exhibits, and documents. After the state completes its case in chief, the defense will have an opportunity to present evidence through witnesses and exhibits. A defendant is not required to put on any evidence or to testify. The burden is always on the state to convince you that the defendant is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. If the defense does present proof, the state may then put on what is known as rebuttal proof. After the state's rebuttal, the defense may put on burden proof. After you've heard all of the evidence, the state and the defense may present final arguments. Likewise, closing arguments are not evidence. In closing arguments, the parties will attempt to summarize their cases. The final part of the trial occurs when I instruct you about the rules of law that you are to use in returning your verdict. After you hear my instructions, I will select and excuse the alternate jurors. The final 12 jurors will leave the courtroom together as a group. You will then begin your deliberations to make a decision in the case. Your deliberations will be secret, and you will not be required to explain your verdict to anyone. Now that I have described in outline form the trial itself, let me explain the functions that you and I will perform during the trial. I will decide which rules of law apply to the case. My decisions will be reflected in responses to questions and objections the attorneys raise during the trial and in my final jury instructions. It is your job to determine what the facts are from the evidence. You must then apply the law and my instructions to the facts, and from that application, you will arrive at a verdict. The state has the burden of proving the guilt of the defendant beyond a reasonable doubt, and this burden remains on the state. Keep in mind that the defendant is presumed to be innocent. Thus, a defendant is not required to prove his innocence, to have his attorney make any statements or arguments, or to produce any evidence. You, as jurors, must decide whether the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant has committed the crimes charged in the indictment. You must base that decision only on the evidence in the case and my instructions about the law. An important part of your job will be making judgments about the testimony of witnesses who testify. You should decide whether you believe what each person says and the importance of his or her testimony. In making that decision, I suggest you ask yourself a few questions. Did the person impress you as honest? Did he or she have any particular reason not to tell the truth? Did the witness have an opportunity and ability to observe accurately the things he or she testified about? Did he or she appear to understand the questions clearly and answer them directly? Did a witness's testimony differ from the testimony of other witnesses? These are some of the considerations that will help you determine the accuracy of each witness's testimony. In making up your mind and reaching a verdict, do not base any decisions on the fact that there were more witnesses on one side than on the other. Likewise, do not reach a conclusion on a particular point just because more witnesses testified for one side on that point. Your job is to think about and evaluate the testimony of each witness you heard and decide the facts. Some of you have heard the terms circumstantial evidence and direct evidence. These are two basic types of evidence that exist in law. Direct evidence is direct proof of a fact, such as the testimony of an eyewitness. Circumstantial evidence is proof of facts from which you may infer or conclude that other facts exist. You may consider both kinds of evidence, which are considered to be of equal value in the law. You must listen carefully to the testimony. Each of you will be allowed to take notes during the trial for your personal use during your deliberations. You're not required to take notes. Independent memory can be as precise as any written note. During the course of the trial, you shall not talk with any witness, defendant, or attorney involved in this case. Please do not talk to them about any subject whatsoever. You might see them in the hallway, on an elevator, or at some other location. If you do, perhaps the best standing rule is to not say anything. You should also not discuss the case amongst yourselves until I instruct you on the law and you start deliberating at the end of this case. It is important that you wait until all of the evidence is received and you have heard all of my instructions on the rules of the law before you deliberate amongst yourselves. During the course of the trial, you will receive all the evidence you may properly consider. Because of this, you shall not attempt to do any research on your own or gather any information on your own that you think may be helpful. Do not engage in any outside reading, visit any locations mentioned in the case, or try to learn about the case outside of this courtroom in any other manner. There will be media reports in the newspapers, on TV, and or on the radio about this particular case. If there are, you are not permitted to read, watch, or listen to those reports. You as jurors must base your decisions solely on the evidence you hear in the courtroom. At times during the trial, an attorney may make an objection to a question that is asked by another attorney or to an answer that a witness gives. This simply means that the attorney is requesting that I make a decision about a particular rule of law. Do not draw any conclusions from the fact that an objection was made or from my ruling on that objection. My rulings only relate to the legal questions that I must determine and should not influence your thinking. If I sustain an objection, the witness will not be permitted to answer the question. Do not attempt to guess what that answer might have been, had the witness been permitted to give it. Similarly, if I tell you not to consider a particular statement that was made, you should put that statement out of your mind and you may not refer to that statement in your later deliberations. It is the responsibility of the attorneys to present the evidence. You must decide this case based on the evidence that's presented to you. Finally, during the course of the trial, I may have to interrupt the proceedings to confer with the attorneys about the rules of law that should apply. In some cases, we may have bench conferences in the courtroom outside of your hearing. And in some instances, I may ask you to retire to the jury room. While we will attempt to resolve some of these issues in the mornings before we get started, in the long run, they save time for all of us. If after your deliberations you find a defendant guilty of any offense, there will be a second phase that we've already discussed during voir dire, in which we will have what we call a mini trial, and the state will put on additional proof, and perhaps the defense will as well. But that's only if we make it through the guilt phase. We're all clear on that point. This completes my opening comments to you. We will now proceed with the reading of the indictment.
May I approach?
Please.
State of Tennessee, Criminal Courts of Shelby County, July term 2022. Count 1. The grand jurors of the state of Tennessee, duly selected, impaneled, sworn, and charged to inquire for the body of the county of Shelby, Tennessee, upon their oath present that Brandon Isabelle, between January 30th, 2022 and February 3rd, 2022 in Shelby County, Tennessee, and before the finding of this indictment, did unlawfully, intentionally, and with premeditation kill Danielle Hoyle in violation of Tennessee Code Annotated 39-13-202 against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. Signed by the District Attorney General, Steve Mulroy. Count 2. The grand jurors of the state of Tennessee, duly selected, impaneled, sworn, and charged to inquire for the body of the county of Shelby, Tennessee, upon their oath, present that Brandon Isabelle, between July 30th, 2022 and February 3rd, 2022, in Shelby County, Tennessee, and before the finding of this indictment, did unlawfully, intentionally, and with premeditation kill Kennedy Hoyle in violation of Tennessee Code Annotated 39-13-202 against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. Signed by the District Attorney General, Steve Mulroy. Count 3. The grand jurors of the state of Tennessee, duly selected, impaneled, sworn, and charged to inquire for the body of Shelby, the county of Shelby, Tennessee, upon their oath, present that Brandon Isabelle, between January 30th, 2022 and February 3rd, 2022, in Shelby County, Tennessee, and before finding of this indictment, did unlawfully and with the intent to commit aggravated child neglect, kill Kennedy Hoyle in the perpetration of or the attempt to perpetrate aggravated child neglect in violation of Tennessee Code Annotated 39-13-202 against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. Signed by the District Attorney General, Steve Mulroy. Count 4. The grand jurors of the state of Tennessee, duly selected, impaneled, sworn, and charged to inquire for the body of the county of Shelby, Tennessee, upon their oath, present that Brandon Isabelle, between January 30th, 2022 and February 3, 2022, in Shelby County, Tennessee, and before the finding of this indictment, did unlawfully and knowingly neglect Kennedy Hoyle, a child 8 years of age or less, so as to adversely affect the health and welfare of said child, such act resulting in serious bodily injury to the said child, in violation of Tennessee Code Annotated 39-15-402, against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. Signed by the District Attorney General, Steve Mulroy. Count 5. The grand jurors of the state of Tennessee, duly selected, impaneled, sworn, and charged to inquire for the body of the county of Shelby, Tennessee, upon their oath, present that Brandon Isabelle, between January 30, 2022 and February 3rd, 2022, in Shelby County, Tennessee, and before the finding of this indictment, did unlawfully and knowingly remove or confine Kennedy Hoyle so as to interfere substantially with the liberty of the said Kennedy Hoyle, and said Kennedy Hoyle did suffer serious bodily injury in violation of Tennessee Code Annotated 39-13-305 against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. Signed by the District Attorney General, Steve Mulroy. Indictment number 2203799, State of Tennessee versus Brandon Isabelle. A true bill signed by the foreperson of the grand jury on September 13th of 2022.
Ms. Fuchs, Mr. Massey, how does your defendant wish to plead to each count in the indictment?
Your Honor, as to the charges listed in the indictment, Mr. Isabelle pleads not guilty.
Thank you. Does the state wish to make an opening statement?
We do, Your Honor.
Go ahead, please.
It was the morning of February 2nd, 2022. Cold, bleak. Mud Island, where the Wolf River meets the Mississippi, was colorless. Shades of gray and brown, except for a small baby calf, so out of place, lying on the riverbank. The only indication of what the defendant, Brandon Isabelle, did mere hours earlier. Danielle Hoyle was 27 years old, and she worked at FedEx. That's where she met the defendant. A meeting that would change the course of her life and so many others, forever. They had a brief sexual relationship, and Danielle got pregnant with Kennedy. The defendant then started dating another woman, Artisha Stewart. She also worked at FedEx. To the defendant, she was the perfect woman. He wanted to be with Artisha, and he'd do anything to keep her. Late the night of January 30th of 2022, the defendant received word that Danielle was in labor at Regional 1. He went to the hospital, and during those late night hours and early morning hours, he was texting Artisha. Their relationship had been on the rocks for a while. Artisha didn't want to deal with another child or another baby mama in the mix. And so they were going back and forth. Artisha was talking about ending things, breaking up, and the defendant was trying to convince her to stick with the relationship. In the midst of these text messages, in the wee hours of January 31st, 2022, baby Kennedy Caitlin Hoyle, was born. Later that morning, the defendant met up with Artisha at Mud Island by the river to talk about the relationship, and nothing was resolved. Fast forward to February 1st of 2022. Danielle's released from the hospital with her precious newborn daughter, Kennedy. She takes the baby home to meet her family, and her mother, April Campbell, gets to spend one precious hour with Kennedy. She didn't know that that was the only time she would get to spend with her granddaughter, and the last time that she would see her daughter, Danielle, alive. Danielle left that night in her Chevy Cruze. She had Kennedy in her car seat in the back seat, and she was going to meet the defendant. He said that he had baby clothes for her, and so they met at a Matco on Brooks and Elvis Presley. Somehow, the defendant convinced Danielle to drive down Sedgwick Road where it meets Levi, a desolate, deserted, dark road. Danielle pulled to the side of the road, parked the wrong way. The defendant exited his vehicle, opened the passenger door, and fired 5 shots into Danielle's car, striking her in the face and the head. He dragged her body from the car, leaving her face down in a ditch, so dark that all that could be seen were Danielle's bright pink shoes. He took Kennedy in her car seat from Danielle's car, put her in a Chevy Malibu, and drove away from the scene, leaving Danielle face down, blood gushing from her head in the muddy rainwater. For a while, the defendant drove around with little Kennedy. He eventually made his way back to 8072 Lathbury in Cordova, which is where he lived with his parents. He went inside the house, changed clothes, put his Adidas slides in the trunk of his car, and got back in the Chevy Malibu. Kennedy was still in the car, not even 2 days old. He had one more problem to take care of. He drove to Mud Island. Real-time crime center cameras show his car going up and down Island Drive until he finally stops at the old boat ramp where the mouth of the Wolf River and the Mississippi meet. He took Kennedy from her car seat, grabbed her by the leg, and threw her into the cold, dark water, not realizing that her little baby cap had fallen from her head and lay resting on the riverbank. He got back into his car, and during this night, he's still texting with Artisha. And his phone, the GPS is on, and it's tracking everywhere he goes. A silent witness to a murderous night. He continues on to Walgreens, where he buys gifts for Artisha. He sits in the parking lot, and he texts Danielle, asking about the baby, knowing that she'll never answer, to cover his tracks. Meanwhile, Officer Cody Sutton with the Memphis Police Department is on routine patrol. He's out of the Rains precinct, patrolling South Memphis, and he drives down Sedgwick Road. He knows the area. It's an area that commonly stolen cars are left. And so when he pulls up, he doesn't think anything of it. He sees a Chevy Cruze parked on the wrong side of the road. It looks like it has a shattered window, so he runs the tag. It's dark and raining, and the tag comes back to Danielle Hoyle. So he sends officers to Danielle's home, thinking they're investigating a stolen vehicle. When they arrive, Danielle's not there. They encounter her mother, April Campbell. April informs the officers that Danielle left earlier that night to see her baby's father, that she had a newborn with her, and they hadn't heard from her and didn't know where she was. Meanwhile, Officer Sutton is still on the scene at Sedgwick. He gets out of his vehicle to take a closer look, and he finds the gruesome discovery of Danielle's body. Now at this point, the Memphis Police Department is starting to realize the gravity of missing Kennedy. Officer Sutton looked around. He found no baby. He found no car seat. Just a bag, a baby bag, with the name Kennedy in the Chevy Cruze to show that she was ever there. A city watch goes out. While this is starting to happen, the defendant has another stop to make. He drives to Walmart on Elvis Presley. He then pulls to the back of the Walmart and drops Kennedy's car seat next to a lock dumpster. And that car seat is later found by a Good Samaritan and Officer Robert Blake. He's still texting with Artesia. She finally relents and says he can come over. He beats her home to 5061 Stacy Road. She pulls up in her Kia Soul, and she can't even make it in her door before the defendant is jumping into her car, telling her that they need to leave. Danielle's family is out looking for him. They want to know where Danielle and the baby are. So Artesia drives him back to 8072 Lackberry in Cordova. That's where the defendant and Artesia Stewart are detained by the Memphis Police Department. Sergeants Wimbush and Boyd, with homicide, began to question the defendant. And through that questioning, it becomes apparent that they need to go to Mud Island. And so a frantic search begins for baby Kennedy on Mud Island. The Braden Dive Team, with divers Hunter Winfrey and Kyle Borland. The Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, with Agent Andy Tweed. Numerous MPD officers on the ground, air support, a helicopter, a drone, looking for baby Kennedy. But they didn't find her. All they found was that baby cat on the riverbank. As Sergeant Boyd and Wimbush continued to speak with the defendant, more information came to light. Sergeant Fowler and Officer Cole went to 5061 Stacy Road, Artesia Stewart's home. That's where the defendant had left his car, the white Chevy Malibu. They searched the car, and in the trunk of the vehicle, they found the Adidas slides that the defendant was wearing. Officer Carlisle took the clothing that the defendant was in when he was taken into custody. And he noticed that the defendant was wearing a pair of white socks with what looked to be blood on them. Officer Carlisle, the crime scene, processed both the Adidas slides and those white socks and used a presumptive test, which indicated blood. Those two items were then sent to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation for DNA testing. Agent Stephen Walzak did the testing on those items and determined that the blood on the socks and the Adidas slides belonged to Danielle Hoyle. Ladies and gentlemen, once you've heard all the proof in this case, the witness accounts, the DNA, the video, once you have heard all the evidence, the state will ask that you find the defendant guilty of each and every count of the indictment.
Does the defense wish to make an opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor. Come back to center with me first. We talked in Board Island about how the state made the allegations, and they have. They did it through an indictment, and they did it through their opening statement. Now, it is up to them. The burden is on them to prove these allegations. Prove these allegations beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, we also talked about how you can't know for sure if truth is being told to you. And that's understandable. Truth rings like a bell on a clear day. Truth does not lend itself to interpretations. Different scenarios, different interpretations. Beyond a reasonable doubt is like the same thing. If there are two reasonable, supported by the evidence interpretations, at the end of this proof, they both are reasonable, the verdict must be not guilty. I ask you to hold the state to that burden of proof. Thank you.
State, you may call your first witness.
State calls Officer Cody Sutton.
Mr. Sutton, come forward. Watch your step. Stand right here. Face your hand and raise your right hand.
Good afternoon. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Please have a seat, watch your step, and I'll need you to speak up for the benefit of Madam Court Reporter.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you please state and spell your name for the jury?
It is Cody Sutton, Codysutton,
And where are you employed?
at Germantown Police Department.
How long have you been at Germantown?
A little over a year
Where were you before then?
at Memphis Police Department.
And how long were you with MPD?
5 years.
And is that where you were employed back in February of 2022?
Yes,
Now, back in February of 2022, where were you assigned?
at Rain Station.
And what shift were you working?
I was Delta shift at that time.
What does that mean?
It's 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. It's the hours that we worked.
And what area does Rain Station cover?
Whitehaven and Westwood.
Is that South Memphis?
Yes.
Now, were you familiar with the area of Levi and Sedgwick?
Yes.
Is that located in Memphis, Shelby County, Tennessee?
Yes.
What are the nearest larger streets?
You got Rains. It's been so long since I've been over there. There's Rains, I think Brooks. This is one of the other closer ones.
All right.
Like, the court asked the witness to keep his voice up a little bit. I'm having a trouble here.
Please approach.
You can speak.
If I can get you to approach, we can address this. I'm sorry, pardon me, sir. For the purposes of the record, I'm going to ask this witness to speak up for the benefit of counsel and as well as those who are joining us. If you, sir, could possibly raise your voice and maybe speak to that officer at the back door,
Yes, ma'am.
and that may help us all, okay? Thank you. I'm sorry, I apologize for the intrusion.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Officer Sutton, can you describe the area of Levi and Sedgwick?
The area of Levi and Sedgwick is it's a back 2-lane road. There's no street lights. It's very dark back there. No houses or anything like that.
And when you would patrol that area, was that specific area known to you for a reason?
Yes, ma'am. Very frequently we would find abandoned, stolen cars on that back street.
Now, on the night of February 1st of 2022, were you patrolling in that area?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you arrive on Levi and Sedgwick around 11:15 p.m.?
Objection to the meeting.
It doesn't suggest an answer, Judge. You can answer yes or no.
Overruled, I'll allow it.
Yes.
And what were the conditions that night?
It was cold. It was raining that night.
Did you see anything that drew your attention?
Yes, there was what appeared to be an abandoned vehicle on the side of the road.
Was it parked on the correct side of the road? Was it facing?
No, it was not.
Okay. Can you describe how it was parked?
It was parked on the left-hand side of the road facing the wrong direction.
I'm going to hand you a photograph and see if you recognize it.
Yes.
And what is that a photograph of?
That is a photograph of the vehicle that I found on the street.
And is that how it appeared to you that night?
Yes.
All right, I would ask that that be the state's first exhibit, Exhibit 1.
Hearing no objection, thank you. And it has not been pre-marked?
It is not, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, may I have permission to publish?
Go ahead, please.
Okay, so Officer Sutton, just to be clear, what are we seeing right there?
That is the vehicle that I located, Levi and Sedgwick, parked on the road facing your direction.
All right. So when you saw that vehicle, what was going through your mind at that point?
I thought it was either someone had left it there, parked it there, broken down, or it might be stolen.
Right. And what did you do?
I had officers go to the registered owner's address to see if they knew the whereabouts of their vehicle and wait for them to get back with me with that information.
And do you recall the name of the registered owner?
Off the top of my head, no.
And once officers went to that location, did you remain on the scene at Levi and Sedgwick?
Yes,
And did you receive information from those officers?
I did.
And what information did you receive?
They told me that
Objection to hearsay.
Judge, it's not being offered for the truth of the matter asserted, but to explain what the officer, the next actions that he took as a result of that information. Your response?
Your Honor, then he can reply to what he did next. We don't need to provide the information that he was given through hearsay statements.
Sustain the objection.
Officer Sutton, once you received that information, what did you do?
I got out and checked the vehicle, and that's when I noticed there was blood on the driver's side door.
And did you continue to investigate?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you find?
I found the victim's body in the ditch next to the vehicle.
Did you also look for a baby?
Yes.
Did you locate a baby?
No.
And did you take that step because of information that you received?
Yes.
Now, when you initially arrived on Levi and Sedgwick and saw the vehicle, did you have body cam on at that time?
Not at first, no.
Once you discovered the body, did you then turn your body cam on?
Yes.
I'm going to hand you a flash drive and see if you recognize it.
Yes.
Is that a clip from your body cam from that night?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have the opportunity to review that?
Yes.
And are those your initials on the flash drive?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask that that be the next exhibit, Exhibit 2.
Hearing no objection. And I now have the initial envelope, safety, Brandon Isabelle, 22-03799 BC 4367, and one initial red USB marked as Exhibit 2.
Your Honor, may I have permission to publish?
Go ahead, please.
Okay, so Officer Sutton, what are we seeing here?
That is a vehicle parked on the road. It's raining, it's dark.
And at this point in time, have you called for additional officers?
Yes.
And did you also call for paramedics?
Yes.
Is that protocol in a situation like this?
Yes.
Now, it looks like there are some lights. Where are those lights coming from?
It looks like from the other vehicles that are on the scene.
Are there any street lights on Levi and Sedgwick?
No.
And does this clip just continue to show the scene as you were there?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to hand you some photographs and see if you recognize them. If you would just look at that first photograph, do you recognize that photograph?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is that a photograph of?
The victim's vehicle.
All right, ask that that be the next exhibit.
No objection.
Say it's Exhibit number 3.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And the next photograph.
Also the vehicle.
And can you describe which portion of the vehicle we're seeing?
This is the Looks like the passenger side of the vehicle.
And I'd ask that that be the next state's exhibit 4.
Hearing no objection, mark it as Exhibit 4, passenger view.
And Your Honor, we did review these before the witness began.
Thank you.
And the next photograph.
Also the passenger side, so a close-up of the front end of the vehicle, the front half of the vehicle.
Ask that that be exhibit 5. And the next photograph.
The driver's side of the vehicle, the broken front driver's side window.
I'd ask that that be exhibit 6. And the last photograph.
It's going to be the interior of the front driver's seat, broken glass, blood on the seat.
I'd ask that that be exhibit 7. May I have permission to publish one? Go ahead, please. So, Officer Sutton, right here, what are we seeing?
That is the victim's vehicle parked on the left-hand side of the road.
And that was, for the record, exhibit 3. Now we're looking at exhibit 4. What are we seeing?
The passenger side of the vehicle.
And does it appear that there's something hanging out of the passenger side?
Yes.
And that is exhibit 4. Exhibit 5. What are we seeing here?
Also the passenger side of the vehicle, the front half of it.
Was there anything about this side of the vehicle?
Not that I remember.
Okay. And exhibit 6. What are we seeing here?
That is the driver's side of the vehicle, the broken window.
And exhibit 7. What is this?
It's the inside of the front driver's seat, broken glass, and blood on the seat.
I'm going to hand you another flash drive and see if you recognize it.
Yes.
Is that another clip from body cam from the scene?
Yes.
And are you actually visible in that clip?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask that that be exhibit 8.
Another tiny envelope, body worn camera clip 2, with a blue USB with CS on the back.
Your Honor, may I have permission to publish? Go ahead, please. Okay, Officer Sutton, what are we seeing?
That is the vehicle. The victim's body is laying next to the vehicle in the ditch.
And are you actually in this video? Let me rewind a little bit.
Yes.
Is that you that we see approaching?
Yes.
All right. Now, at this point, other officers are arriving, is that correct?
Yes.
And who begins to work the scene? How is that assigned?
First we contact our supervisor, they contact felony response. When they come out, they're the ones that take over the scene from that point.
And can you explain to the jury what felony response is?
Felony response is our bureau. They would come out on any felony cases that we had. They pretty much took over the scene that way.
Are they the after-hours people?
Yeah.
Okay. And then at some point, did homicide make the scene?
Yes.
And was crime scene also out there?
Yes.
So is it fair to say there were several bureaus out there working the scene?
Yes.
I'm going to hand you 2 more photographs. Do you recognize that first photograph?
Yes.
And what is that a picture of?
It was a picture of the victim's body.
And is that how it looked when you discovered the body?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask that that be the next exhibit, Exhibit 9. And Officer Sutton, the next photograph, do you recognize that photograph?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is that a picture of?
It's a picture of the vehicle with the body in the ditch next to it.
Your Honor, I'd ask that that would be the state's exhibit number 10. May I have permission to close, Your Honor?
Go ahead, please.
Okay, what are we seeing in this photograph?
That is the victim's body lying in the ditch next to the vehicle.
And that was Exhibit 9. Exhibit 10. What are we seeing in this photograph?
It's a wider view of the victim's body next to the vehicle.
And at that point in time, has anybody moved the body?
No.
The light that we're seeing, where is that coming from?
The vehicles that are on the scene, flashlights.
When you initially pulled up on that vehicle, were you able to see a body?
No.
Now, looking back that evening, did you hear something earlier coming from that area?
I heard gunshots that could possibly have come from that area.
And did you end up remaining at Levi Sedgwick that night while the investigation was going forward?
Yes.
Pass the witness.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Sutton, this was a very dark area, right?
Yes.
Heavily wooded,
Yes.
a 2-lane road. You indicated that people often would abandon stolen cars.
Right.
Is that area in general a somewhat high crime area?
Yes.
And there were actually several different types of shell casings out on that street,
Correct.
right in the area where this happened.
Mhm.
And there are no cameras recording what's going on that part of the street.
No, ma'am.
And the casings that were found, they were of multiple calibers.
Right.
And when you first happened upon the scene, that was the only vehicle there,
Yes.
and Ms. Hoyle was the only person there.
Yes.
Do you recall how many different types of calibers were on the scene?
I don't.
Do you recall it being multiple
Yes.
calibers? And do you recall it being multiple casings?
Yes.
Do you recall at least one of them being a .40 caliber?
I don't recall.
And you had indicated that earlier you had possibly heard gunshots.
Yes.
That was not what drew you to the area then, right?
No.
And when you arrived on the scene, you did not know how long the car had been there.
No.
You did not know how long Ms. Hoyle had been there.
No.
You didn't actually see any of these events unfold.
No.
You don't know what was happening at the time the events unfolded.
No.
And just for clarity, you had said 23:14 on the time, or non-military time speak. That'd be 11:14 p.m., right?
Correct.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Any redirect from the state?
Just briefly. Officer Sutton, you said that this was a high crime area, is that right?
Yes.
The street signs that we see on Levi and Sedgwick, is there anything out of the ordinary about those?
There were multiple bullet holes in many of the street signs in that area.
That's all I have, thank you.
May I follow up briefly, please? Is this an area where it is uncommon to hear bullet or gunshot?
No.
Is that something that you often hear even in these more secluded areas?
Yes.
Do you drive down Levi and Sedgwick often?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you hear gunfire frequently when you were driving along Levi and Sedgwick?
Usually when I was driving on Levi and Sedgwick, no.
Okay, but in that area?
Yeah.
Okay, you heard gunshots frequently in that area?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Thank you. You may step down. Please call your next witness.
State calls Deshaun Cole.
Mr. Cole, come forward. Watch your step. Stand right here, face your honor, raise your right hand.
Pardon me, sir.
No problem.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please watch your step. Have a seat and speak up for the benefit of Madam Court Reporter. Thank you.
Would you please state and spell your name for the jury?
Deshaun Cole, is Victor, ISHAWN. Last name is Cole, C-O-L-E.
And where are you employed?
Memphis Fire Department.
How long have you been with the Memphis Fire Department?
17 years.
And what is your position there?
Lieutenant/paramedic.
And did you make a scene at Levi and Sedgwick on February 1st, 2022 into February 2nd of 2022?
Yes, I did.
And do you recall, what were you responding to?
If I'm correct, it was a party down.
Now, when you arrived at that location, were police already on the scene?
Yes.
Can you describe the conditions?
It was raining. All you see is police lights, and it was cold at night.
Was it a well-lit area?
No, ma'am.
And describe what you found when you arrived.
Hey, we were told to go and there's a young lady laying in a ditch. We had to assess her.
I'm going to hand you a USB drive and see if you recognize it.
Yes, I do.
And is that video from the scene?
Yes.
And are you actually in that video?
Yes, I am.
And you had a chance to review it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'd ask that this be the next state's exhibit, Exhibit 11.
Okay, we got here a big clip with the initials of BC, another tiny envelope, State versus Brandon Isabelle. Thank you.
May I have permission, public?
Go ahead, please.
So what is happening?
We're assessing the patient to see if the patient is alive or not.
And was there anything that you were able to do for the patient at that
No,
point?
ma'am.
What did you specifically do?
We assessed her, checked her, to see if she was breathing anything, and put some electrodes on to see if she had any heart activity.
And is that a machine that you have?
Yes.
And what did you determine?
But she was not alive.
Is she being hooked up with the electrodes at this point? Is that what's happening?
It would take a moment.
And what was that 1206? What was going on there?
The time of death we called her, that she had been out here.
And were you the one that actually pronounced death?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what has been entered as Exhibit 9. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
Is that the patient that you went out to assess?
Yes, ma'am.
And we're seeing a little bit of blue here, looks like on the torso and maybe on the arms.
Yes.
What are those?
Those are called cardiac electrodes.
So you as paramedics to assess her, put the electrodes on her?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Go ahead, please.
When you say the time of death was declared at 12:06 a.m., that's the time it was declared, not the actual time of death, right?
Correct, from us.
That's all I have.
Will you redirect?
No.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. Please call your next witness.
State calls Mario Foster.
Mr. Foster, come forward. Watch your step. Stand right here, face your raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Please watch your step and speak up for the benefit of Madam Clerk. Go ahead, please.
Would you please state and spell your name for the jury?
Mario Foster, Mario Foster,
And where are you employed?
Memphis Fire Department.
And what do you do for MOD?
I'm a driver / advanced EMT.
Now, did you respond to a call in late night, February 1st of 2022 to the early morning of February 2nd, 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the station you were assigned to at that time?
Station 39 on Elvis Prison and Range Road.
And did you go to a call in the area of Levi and Sedgwick?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you also with paramedic Deshaun Cole?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the scene when you got there?
We pulled up, police were on scene, dark back road, it was raining, cold that night.
Now, were you the one that was actually assessing the patient?
No, ma'am.
Did you look inside the vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
And why did you do that?
Being that we didn't have an ID on the patient, I was looking for mail, ID, purse, wallet, anything to identify the patient.
I'm going to hand you a photograph and see if you recognize it.
Yes, ma'am.
What is that a photograph of?
Back seat, diaper bag. Of course, assuming a baby had to be in the back seat of the
Objection,
car.
speculation.
Give me a second, please. There's been an objection made. Would you like to respond?
Your Honor, we'll move past that.
Thank you.
Judge, we would ask that that picture be Exhibit 12. Your Honor, may I have permission to publish? Go ahead, please. So you looked inside the vehicle to see if you could identify who the patient was, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. And this was the vehicle that you looked into?
Yes, ma'am.
And what are we seeing right here?
Diaper bag, back seat in the back seat of the car.
And was there a name on the diaper bag?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the name?
Kennedy.
Now, when you were on the scene, did you see a baby?
No, ma'am.
Now, later that morning, did you end up at Raines Precinct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what were you doing there?
So we received a call unrelated to this call. If I remember correctly, it was an altercation between two people, and they called us to assess those patients.
And what happened when you went into Raines Precinct?
So as we were assessing those patients, we saw a lady walk in, and who we later found out was the mom of the young lady who we had just left. And a few moments after she walked in, we just heard a lot of yelling and screaming from her and the family members as she walked in.
And did you stand by in case any medical needs presented themselves?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the demeanor of that woman?
At the time, she just walked in, just normal. And again, like I said, after she found out, the news, she just broke down, started crying and screaming.
I'll pass the witness.
Go ahead, please.
No questions, Your Honor?
Thank you, sir. You may step down. Please. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be right with you. Please come forward. Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
Have a seat. Watch your step. Sergeant Klein, speak up for me.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. If you could, state your name and spell it for the jury and court, please.
Sergeant Jeremy Klein, Jeramy, last name Cline.
All right, I see you're carrying a gun. Where do you work?
I work for Memphis Police Department in the Homicide Bureau.
Were you assigned to homicide back on February 2nd of 2022?
I was.
And do you recall homicide involving Danielle Hoyle and Kennedy?
That's correct.
Did you get assigned some tasks on that particular case?
Yeah, my original task was to meet with April Hoyle at their house and kind of get as much information I can about Danielle's movements. However, when I arrived there, she wasn't there. She had changed locations over the Rain Station precinct, and that's where I ended up meeting with April Hoyle.
And did you have to deliver the news to her or deliver some bad news to her?
I did. I basically told her that we found her daughter's vehicle and that we had found a female that had been killed outside the vehicle. At that moment, we didn't know if it was Danielle or not, just because the identity hadn't been known to us. But I did inform Miss April that we were investigating a homicide.
Did you also look into an Apple Watch?
I did. At some point in time, we did return back over to April's house where Danielle's Apple Watch was at. April was able to give me the Apple Watch and give me the passcode to the Apple Watch. So we brought it back to the precinct and started going through some of the past messages that was inside the watch.
And you were looking for things relevant to potential homicide or disappearance of a child?
That's correct.
Were you able to find some things that were relevant or a text that was relevant?
I did. I found a text that came in on February the 1st from a contact that was listed by Brandon. In that text, they were talking about the child, Kennedy, what it seemed like. And Brandon's basically saying that he needed to be a father to his own child and was asking for the Kennedy to be aborted. And this is like a screenshot of a message that she had.
I'm going to fast forward some photographs for the record. This defense has viewed those, and those are kind of in order. Do you recognize the photograph?
I do.
What do you recognize those to be?
This is a photograph of the Apple Watch that I looked through.
And there's 3 of them, because we had to take 3 to get the whole message, is that correct?
That's correct.
Your Honor, if we could have this marked as the next exhibit, it's a collective.
Collected exhibit number 13. And this is 3 photos.
Yeah, if we could
Go ahead, please.
post those. I'll put the first one up, Sergeant Klein. Make that also zoom in on that a little bit. If you could read this for us.
It says, I can't be a father to the kid right now, Danielle, and I don't want to put you through that. I have to be a father to my first child. I haven't been doing that. I don't want you to go through what you're going through with Dad not being around twice. You deserve better than what I've been doing to you. If you love me like you say you do, then let's end this mistake, Danielle. Let's talk to these doctors tomorrow, and let's both hear them and have them understand where we're coming from. I got to sit.
And
Yeah.
go to the next one here. Please zoom in on that. I think you stopped it. I got to sit.
Yeah, I'm looking for it now. Like, I got to sit back and find myself with no distractions, like, for real. I got to find me.
Third, if you just go to the third one, I think it has. There you go.
Yeah, and it says, Brandon, bye, just stop texting me and go about your business. I don't need you, and talking to them, they still not going to do it. I'm going on 5 months now.
All right. And Sergeant Klein, was that the only things that you could find that were relevant within the Apple Watch?
Yes, sir.
Did you consider or think about trying to download or dump the entirety of the watch?
At the time, Memphis Police Department did not possess the technology to be actually able to extract the messages from the watch the way we had, and I don't think we were in possession of Danielle's phone.
All right. And is that everything that you did with respect to this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No further questions, Judge?
Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Klein. What was the date on that text of the watch?
So it was a snapshot when it was retransmitted. I'm not sure to who or from, but when it was retransmitted, the date of the transmission was February 1st, 2022.
That wasn't the date that it originated, was it?
That I won't know when it actually originated.
I'm confused. The 2/1/22, was that on the watch?
That was the day that the transmission of that snapshot was sent. So basically, the way it works is this was a screenshot of a text message between Brandon and who I'm assuming would be Danielle. From that text message, it was retransmitted to whom, I don't know, but it's retransmitted on the 1st, showing that mark, that conversation.
So we wouldn't know when that first text message came in. You don't have any evidence of when that first text message.
Reading the text message, I would imagine about 5 months along. Danielle was pregnant about 5 months along.
That would be your correct milestone, wouldn't it?
Correct.
Okay, that's it. And also, you were involved with Artisha as well, Artisha Stewart.
I don't recall. I might have been, but I don't recall.
Did you help with the interrogation of Artisha Stewart?
At this time, if I did, I took notes. I don't have those notes in front of me, and I do not recall.
The case coordinator here, that wasn't you, was it?
That was not me. Yes, sir.
That was Jacoba Boyd.
That's correct.
And would you tell the jury, please, what a case coordinator is? What does he do?
Basically, case coordinator, or what we also refer to as lead investigator, he is the person who is in charge to make sure certain tasks are done within the case. He will assign people to do things for the case, or he himself has to ensure that they get done, such as search warrants, supplements, basically keeping the notes of the case and to make sure that it is moving forward and that we're progressing to make charging the suspect in the crime.
So he's kind of up here, and the people he's giving things to do are down below him, and he's giving them tasks.
Well, yes, sir. In a sense, yes, sir.
And those people that he gives tasks oftentimes write reports and send them to him.
That's correct.
And he makes decisions based on that.
Correct.
Okay. No other questions, thank you, sir.
Any redirect from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. That's all that you have for today?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our business for today. You have plans, and I have to get you out of here. Again, you are not to discuss anything you think you may know. I can assure you you don't. You are not to do any independent research. You may talk freely about anything else except what has happened here today with anyone at any time until I give you instructions to do so. Are we all clear?
Yes, sir.
I'll see you in the morning. Get some rest. Don't overdo it tonight with the food and the snacks. Leave your notebooks here. We'll take care of it.
Excuse me, your notebook's in the chair. Watch your step. You step down.
Have a great night. Get some rest. Thank you. And y'all still didn't go out on the other side. It's fine. It's fine.